Hey there everyone, this is Michael Dougal, your Greater Toronto Area real estate resource. This is a very exciting video because we're going to take a look at the month of January 2024, look at the data and actually take a deep dive into the things like the average price, days on market, and general conditions. Is it a seller's market or is it a buyer's market? There is so much information and a lot of misinformation in the media. So I'm here to make sure you have a clear picture of the market. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. If you are considering buying or selling, call me. And real estate agents, if you are looking for a great brokerage for the remainder of the year, make sure to reach out to me to learn more about eXp Realty. And we're going to jump into this first chart over here. And we are looking at a breakdown of the really important numbers from January 2024 back to January 2023, being the number of sales, the number of active listings, MOI, that stands for months of inventory, which gives us a general idea of is it a seller's market, is it a buyer's market, and to what extent. Average price and how it's changed, and DOM, that stands for days on market. Starting with the number of sales, and this is the talking point right now that it's actually higher than it was in December, but I think that's pretty obvious. 4,223. In December was 3,444. So first looking at the number of sales, and this is fairly positive given that there were more sales in January versus December. There was about 800 or so more sales. However, if you're looking at the big picture here, this is still an awfully low number. We usually see 6,000 to 8,000 sales take place per month here in the Greater Toronto Area, and with the average year being around 90,000 sales. So it's the number of sales is very low, but it is higher than it was in December. And so this is a healthy rise. I think if the number of sales remain to be around 3,000 to 3,500, even during the month of January, there could be a lot of changes to our economy, and mostly in negative ways. In 2023, the highest number of sales was experienced during the month of May with just over 9,000 sales, to give you some perspective. Let's look at the number of active listings. This actually hasn't changed too much. In December, it was just over 10,000. January, similarly, just over 10,000. Now, back in January 2023, it was at 9,300. And this number, 10,000 active listings, doesn't really tell the whole story because what's more important is the demand versus supply. So having 10,000 active listings, it's not like the market's oversaturated, and at the same time, it's not like we're undersupplied. It's a healthy number of active listings. However, here's where things get interesting, and that is looking at the months of inventory. So the lower the months of inventory is, the more of a seller's market we're in, and the higher the months of inventory is, the more of a buyer's market we're in. So think of months of inventory like how long it would take to sell all the supply of listings. And this number is actually the lowest it's been since June 2023, representing we are more of a seller's market now than we have been for the past 6 or so months. And the number is 2.39. So that's taking into consideration the number of active listings and taking into consideration the number of sales that are taking place each month. However, here's the interesting part, is that our average price has actually come down slightly compared to December. Our average price being $1,030,000, and in December it was $1,080,000. And this article says it best, that a decline in fixed mortgage rates since the summer, coupled with expectations that the Bank of Canada is done raising the rates, has pushed many buyers into the housing market. Scrolling down this article, it says that this increase in demand has not translated into higher prices, but if demand from home buyers continues to outpace new listings, we may see prices starting to trend up. And what I'm seeing from being in the market every single day is that in the beginning of January, the market was somewhat similar to December. However, at the end of January, specifically like January 20th till the end, the market was extremely hot, and a lot of listings were selling above the asking price as there was more demand and less supply than we had expected. And a lot of listings were actually selling over asking price, perhaps because there was increased demand, yet we were still undersupplied with homes. And you will start seeing some headlines that listings are selling for very high prices compared to what they were selling for within the past 6 months, which makes it especially important that you continue to stay updated. So make sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And next, taking a look at DOM, which stands for days on market. The average home was selling in 37 days. So this is the highest the number has been throughout the past year anyway. However, when you look at this number, the reason why it's higher than what you would have expected is because Toronto condos specifically, and there's so many of them, there's an oversupply, they are what are taking particularly long to sell. And that's somewhat represented here in this next chart because we're looking at the average price by property type, comparing January 2023 to January 2024. So we can see that detached homes were selling in Toronto for $1,342,000 during January 2023. Now they're selling for $1,351,000, which represents a 0.8% increase. And our semi-detached homes have actually increased in price the most out of the 4 different property types. However, that's only by 1.8% now, with the average semi selling for $1,038,000. Townhouses are up by 0.5%, with the average townhome selling for $891,000. And condos, they're down, but just slightly, down by by 0.6%, with the average condo selling for $682,000. And I have to say, it's been quite a while since I've seen the market being this stable if we just look at the average price now versus the average price about a year ago. And now let's take a look at the 5-year historical average price, and we can see how it increased so significantly from 2021 to 2022, with the average price really peaking at $1,242,000 during that month specifically. And now then it came down, and we can see now our average price is at $1,027,000. And January is an interesting month because we typically do see prices come up just slightly towards the end of the month, followed by February prices increasing even more. And March is where we've seen prices peak most often if we look at the data within the past 10 years. However, we're looking at very unpredictable times. Of course, the interest rates have really been responsible for changing the dynamics of the market. And prior to 2022, what controlled the average price going up or down was the supply of listings. Whereas now it's not really the supply of listings. That doesn't determine if the prices are going higher or lower. What it is the interest rates. And so now, because the Bank of Canada have released the schedule as far as when they're going to make announcements with the interest rate changing, unfortunately, we do have the scheduled dates when the Bank of Canada will be making announcements with the interest rates either increasing, staying stable, or decreasing. And I've talked more about my predictions with the interest rates in this video right over here. Now, it seems that most people are just expecting rates to drop. We just don't know when. And perhaps buyers could be getting in the market because they understand that more buyers will be coming in the market once these rate decreases take place. If you're a buyer, should you buy now? That depends. If you're a seller, should you sell now? Most likely you should be. And if you are considering selling, I would highly recommend you interview several agents to make sure that you found the best one for the job. Make sure to call me. My number is 416-671-5218. And if you're a real estate agent looking to increase your business in 2024, let's face it, holding your license is very expensive. The business is very competitive, so you have to be working with agents who understand this business and learning best practices on a daily basis. That's what we're doing. I'm looking forward to connecting with you. Do subscribe if you did get value from this video, and I look forward to seeing you next time.